As Marvin gets ready for work, he is watching a news report about a girl he fancies named Rihanna, who is coming down from a tree that she has been living in for a year now. As he heads out for a run, he is attacked by a dog named Dimples. He continues but is overtaken by an old man that is also out for a jog. Marvin works at the police station as an evidence file clerk. Marvin had made a promise to his father before he died that he would become a real policeman. As part of his training, he has to complete a physical endurance test. The cadets set off but it doesn't go well for Marvin and he doesn't even manage to complete the course properly. In the bar, the other policemen are laughing at him. Marvin sits with his friends, Fatty and Miles. Miles is annoyed as he thinks that he receives preferential treatment because he is black. Marvin goes to the toilet and bumps into Rihanna. He is awestruck and is embarrassed as she leaves. That night Marvin is watching an infomercial about badger milk that is a supplement to help build up the body. Marvin mans the office whilst the other policemen attend a softball game. He receives an emergency call and radios for help. Nobody answers so he sets out alone. He continues to call for backup as he drives but has to swerve to avoid a seal that is on the road. The car hurtles down a cliff and Marvin is badly injured. He is pulled from the wreckage by a strange figure and he is operated on by a team of animals. Marvin wakes up next to the wreckage of his car and gets a lift home. When he arrives, Dimples runs at him but suddenly stops and urinates on the floor before running back to his kennel. Marvin finds that he has received a package of badger milk which he finds delicious. He takes a shower and notices that his body is suddenly fit. However, have a painful mark on his chest, a huge scar on his back and a hairy bottom. At work, Fatty asks where he has been. He has been missing for over a week. Marvin is suddenly super fit and can outrun a horse. He runs into Rihanna who is struggling to control her dogs but as he approaches they all start to behave. She explains that she volunteers at a pet shop. In the distance, he sees someone throw a frisbee and Marvin runs to catch it in his mouth. Miles is smoking in the airport and is furious that he is allowed to get away with it. He thinks that it is because he is black that people are not saying anything. Marvin tells him that he thinks that the badger milk has worked on him. He suddenly sniffs the air and tackles a man who he thinks has illegal substances on him. The police can't find anything but Marvin finds it in the guy's bottom. The police congratulate him and say that he will hear from them. Marvin is given a job as a policeman. Sisk is giving a speech but the press interrupts him to ask Marvin if he can smell what is up their bottoms. He tells them before he is led away. This exchange is monitored from afar and as Marvin goes home he is approached by an eccentric Englishman named Dr. Wilder. He claims to have saved his life and released him to see if he could function normally in society but now he is attracting attention. Marvin claims to not remember anything and still thinks that his transformation is due to the badger milk. Wilder stuns him with a dart. Marvin wakes in a barn. Wilder explains that when he found him, the only way to save him was to put animal parts in him. He tells him that he needs to stay with him now but Marvin wants to carry on with his new life. Dr. Wilder explains that his human side may not be able to control it and will not allow it. However, Marvin leaves anyway. At the station, Sisk warns Marvin that he is watching him. He tosses a chicken bone in the bin and Marvin is unable to control himself from retrieving it. Outside, Marvin is overwhelmed by a pretty girl and tries to hump the mailbox. He goes to the animal shelter to see Rihanna. She leaves him for 1 minute and he tries to catch a fish from the tank in his mouth. When he goes inside, he learns that he can communicate with Molly, a baby turkey vulture who he feeds as though he were its mother. Rihanna is impressed. Rihanna takes Marvin to meet Henry, the orangutan who slaps him. They blow raspberries at each other and fight while Rihanna is preoccupied with her parrot. As she turns around they both behave normally. Marvin later confides to his friends in the bar that he keeps having these animal urges. He wakes in the morning at the butcher's, not knowing how he got there, but he has a huge belly from eating so much. Sisk watches him leave. Marvin goes to Wilder's and exercises the belly off but still maintains that he isn't staying. He explains what has been happening to him and Wilder tells him that his subconscious is reverting to a primal state. Wilder experiments and offers to train him. He says that his hunger and libido will be the biggest challenges. He offers to help with the latter with the help of a beautiful chimpanzee. At work, Sisk confronts Marvin. He believes that Marvin is trying to show him up and so partners up with him. They go out on patrol together in a rough neighborhood. Marvin scares some gangsters away by barking. They go to a farm to investigate a missing tractor. Marvin notices a goat that is on heat and he goes across to woo her. He peacocks around her before he kisses her romantically. Eventually she kicks him away. Back in the car, they run into Rihanna out walking the dogs. Sisk asks her out for a date but she tells him that he already has plans with Marvin. Sisk is furious. At the mayor's annual charity event, Marvin is tempted by the food but suddenly spots a kitty and gives chase. He fights with the cat until he is pulled away. Sisk apologizes to the mayor, who recognizes him as the butt-sniffing cop. As Marvin coughs up a furball, Sisk tells the mayor that he has failed his probation. Suddenly Marvin can hear something and dives into the pond. He rescues the mayor's young son from drowning and the crowds applaud as he performs tricks. In the bar, Marvin is toasted as the newest cop on the force. He tells his friends that he is worried about his date with Rihanna. He decides to tell his friends what happened to him after the accident, but they don't seem to believe him. During the date, a waiter tries to hit on her, and as she goes to the lavatory, Marvin marks his territory on her chair. When she returns, he tells her that she has something on her face, which he proceeds to lick off. She isn't sure if that is the nicest or the grossest thing that has ever happened to her. Marvin struggles to control his base instincts, and as the waiter continues to flirt, Marvin follows him outside and knocks him out. Marvin walks her home and she tells him that tomorrow she will release Molly back into the wild and he should come along. As she closes the door, Marvin marks his territory outside. The following morning, Marvin wakes up in the wild. When he arrives at work, he hears reports of a cow that had been eviscerated overnight. The farmer believes that there is some kind of beast out there. Chief Wilson asks to see Marvin in his office. A man matching his description was seen in the vicinity last night and he asks if he has an alibi. Marvin is put on paid leave for a while and packs his things. Rihanna comes to see him at home and finds that he has built a beaver dam out front. She asks what is up and he explains, but she believes that he isn't dangerous. She agrees to stay the night to prove it to him. They kiss and he gets frisky, but he insists that she tie him up so that he won't hurt anyone. That night a beast attacks a hunter in the woods. Marvin wakes in the morning next to Rihanna. She had released him during the night. Suddenly, the police try to break in and Rihanna urges him to run. A police task force searches for him with instructions to shoot to kill. He is also pursued by an angry mob. Marvin suddenly notices Dr. Wilder in a tree with a dart gun. He realizes that there is something else out there and Wilder tells him that it was part of the same experiment, but it is out of control. They must catch it before it's too late. Miles and Fatty are searching for Marvin, when Fatty, out of breath, ominously tells Miles that he needs to eat. Rihanna encounters Chief Wilson, who tells her that she shouldn't be there as there is a crazy man beast in the woods. Dr. Wilder falls and tells Marvin to carry on without him. As he removes his shoe, he uncovers a beastly looking foot. The mob continues to hunt as Marvin finds some food. It is a trap laid by Sisk, who shoots at him. Rihanna hears the shot and goes to investigate. Fatty is eating berries. He and Miles also hear the shots. Marvin swings through the branches to escape before Sisk chases him in a jeep. Marvin is able to outrun him before the jeep crashes. Marvin reaches a ravine but is able to jump across. Sisk is not as agile and clings to a vine on the edge of the cliff. Marvin pulls him back up, explaining that he saved him because he isn't an animal. Nevertheless, Sisk pulls a gun on him, but he is rescued by a roaring creature that leaps from the trees. It is Rihanna who explains to Marvin that the hunter was after Molly. It turns out that she also knows Dr. Wilder. Rihanna licks Marvin's face as Miles and Fatty watch on. Suddenly the police and the angry mob appear. Marvin insists that he is not the beast, but he isn't believed. Miles steps forward and says that he is the beast. The mob disbands and Marvin believes that it is because he is black. 1 year later, Rihanna and Marvin are living together on a wildlife reserve with a litter of babies. Dr. Wilder has won a Nobel Prize and dedicates the prize to his fiancée, the girl from the Badger Milk infomercial. As he and Rihanna kiss, Marvin is distracted by a passing hot goat. Like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.